Pro Gun live stream. Today is Saturday, June 6th, 2026, and we're back. Give it a few minutes for people to join, and we'll get started. All right, we have a few people on. We'll just give it another minute or so, and we'll get started. We are glad to be back. We were gone for a week. We were in Nashville last week. As always, this is a gun chat where we share information and we post questions and answers regarding firearms and the Second Amendment. If you're new to this live stream, we do this every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern and every Saturday at 12 noon. And I do hope that our moderators show up. And just so you know, unless you say hi or enter a comment, it doesn't show me who's actually on the stream. So I can't give you a shout out or acknowledge your comments. So who do we have out there? There we go. How you doing there, Project M Theory from California? Hey, Mike, there he is. All right, so I want to give you a quick update. Last week, my wife and I were in Nashville, Tennessee, and we went to the Glock store open house, and it was out of freaking control. There were thousands of people there. I tried to do a live stream while I was there, but all you would have saw were a million people. I couldn't get near any of the products I wanted to see. It was a little disappointing. It's probably a great place to go when they don't have an open house. Hey, Duke, thanks for joining, brother. And I may do that again one day, but during the open house, it was just too crowded to do a live stream. However, they did give away $50,000 worth of stuff. I was not one of them. The only thing I won was a box of 9mm ammo. I need more 9mm ammo, like I need another hole in the head. However, I do have an update on that Kimber Custom LW. And Connor Martin, hello to you. Thanks for joining. So those of you that have been following the stream um, know that I've purchased a Kimber Custom Lightweight, even though I have never been a big fan of Kimber. I decided to give it another try. And when I took it to the range, I was pretty happy with it. And Connor Morton, hello. Like I said, there's a lot of comments that go through very quickly. So if I fail to acknowledge you or pick up your questions, I apologize for that. Where do I live? We live in the great state of Tennessee. But anyway, so we took a bunch of guns with us and we found a gun range near the cabin we were staying at. So I took the new Kimber Custom LW and I put around 300 rounds through it. And I was very pleased with it. I got to tell you, at 25 yards, I hit the steel plate every freaking time. And good afternoon, AG. Thanks for joining. I didn't know if the lightweight frame would have more muzzle flip or recoil than my other 1911s, and it didn't. Honestly, I couldn't even tell the difference shooting the Kimber LW versus my Ruger or my Colt government model. It shot extremely well, and I only had one misfeed, and that misfeed, I am absolutely convinced, was not the Kimber's fault. It was the Winchester white box ammo 230 grain 45 ACP. And the reason I know it wasn't the Kimber is because I've also had quite a few failures with my Glock 21 45 ACP, and that eats everything. So the bottom line is it's definitely not the Kimber. I'm very happy with it. It was extremely reliable, and I'm glad I purchased it, and I've now included that into my carry rotation, and I will be carrying it more because I carried that every day while we were on the trip. And it's funny, after carrying a 1911 again, it's really making me not like polymer frame striker fired guns. Just something about that 1911 trigger and the feel of steel or aluminum versus polymer. And I see we have more liberals joining today. It is that time. They usually wake up out of their parents' basements by now. Being they don't have jobs, they stay up all night playing video games, but that's fine. They're entertaining, and I take that as a huge compliment because you guys could be doing a lot of other things like whacking off or whatever, and you choose to follow our live stream. So thank you for that. I apologize. Anyway, so I am glad I bought that Kimber Custom. Now, I have a question maybe you guys could help me with. I am looking for another 1911 10 millimeter. And I narrowed it down to 3. And I'll create a poll. And one is the Colt Delta Elite. The second one is the Magnum Research. And the third one is the Springfield Ronin. I saw the Springfield Ronin has a bundle now on Grab-A-Gun that comes with the Hexfly optic. So, I will add the choices here. And one more. All right. So I created the poll here, and those are my choices. The Colt Delta Elite, the Magnum Research Desert Eagle, and the Springfield Ronin. Let's see. Sorry, Now, price-wise, the Colt Delta Elite is about $1,200. The Magnum Research Desert Eagle is about $700 to $800, and the Ronin is about $800. I'm personally leaning towards the Delta Elite. I just always wanted one. But it comes down to price, and I don't know whether it's worth waiting to save the extra money to go with the Delta Elite, or just getting the Magnum Research or the Springfield Ronin. Now, I don't think that getting either of them is compromising. Hey, brother Adrian, how you doing there, brother? Thanks for joining. It's been a long time since I've seen you. We haven't talked for a while either. Yeah, you know what, Duke? I thought somebody was going to say that. I have the Ronin in 45 ACP, Mike. It's an awesome gun. I don't think getting it in 10 millimeter is really a compromise. It just basically comes down to, I just always wanted a Delta Elite. But I don't think there's any shame in buying any of them. I know Magnum Research is also a good quality gun, and I want a good quality gun. I don't want to start going down towards the lower end like a TSUS or a Rock Island. So those are my three choices. Let's see. We do have a bunch of new people on the stream, which I appreciate that. Duke, to be honest with you, I don't think the Dan Wesson is worth the money. I really don't. And the problem is, you need to draw the line somewhere when it comes to price, right? If I'm going to spend that kind of money on a Dan Wesson, it'll never end, right? Because then it's like you might as well save more money and get a Wilson Combat. But that's just me. I'm thinking, $1,200 is Kevin. Well, Colt is owned by CZ, but they are still made in America. And I just know, I know the Delta Elite is just a classic, but there is also no shame in the Ronin. I have a Springfield Ronin 45 ACP, and I love it. So I think the 10 millimeter will be just as good. Everybody knows the reputation of Magnum Research for their Desert Eagle 50 caliber. So I'm pretty sure their 10 millimeter is awesome as well. And just so you know, Kevin, I'm okay that CZ bought Colt, because the quality of Colt started going down the shitter the last few years. And then when CZ bought it, the quality went right back up to what it used to be. And CZ owns a lot of other good quality guns. They own Dan Wesson. If you didn't know that, Duke, Dan Wesson is owned by CZ now. Dan Wesson is also a classic, but the price that the Dan Wesson commands, at that point, you may as well just go with a Wilson Combat. I just can't justify $3,000 on a carry gun. I don't own any safe Queens. I carry every firearm I own, even my Python. So we'll see at the end of the stream what the results show in the poll. But I am kind of leaning towards the Delta Elite. Now my question comes down to, do I have any firearms that I'm willing to trade for that to help offset the cost? And it gets harder and harder, because as I thin out the herd, I have less and less guns I'm willing to part with. I agree with you, Kevin. I don't mind paying for high quality, but there's a price, right? A $3,000 Wilson Combat isn't going to make you shoot any better. If you shoot competitively, maybe you can shoot faster, but it's not going to make you more accurate. I mean, if you can't shoot, it doesn't matter how expensive the gun is. We do have a bunch of new people on the stream here, so thank you for joining us. We do this every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern and every Saturday at 12 noon. If you haven't done so, please hit that subscribe button. Greatly appreciate that. I got 2 new weapon lights sent to me this week to review. And after I review them, I will be giving one of them away. And I did a review on it. It was from Highlights a week ago. So probably next Saturday, I will probably give one of the weapon lights away. I agree, Kevin, range time is very important. However, I am a huge believer in dry fire training. Most of the heavy lifting that you do is with dry fire training. When you go to the range and you're punching holes through paper, all you're doing is validating that your dry fire training worked. Now, some people argue that when you dry fire train, you don't have the recoil. But that only matters on subsequent follow-up shots. That first shot, you don't get the recoil till after you pull the trigger. So shooting shots individually, I really don't think that dry fire training is that much different. There is the noise element, and I'm probably going to do a video on that because I like using the air pistols. I have a Umarex Glock 19 air pistol, and you do get a little blowback and you do get the noise, so it does make dry fire training a little bit more realistic. And CS, welcome. Yeah, everybody needs to get to the range, so. No, the results of this poll will end after the stream ends. So it will not take 7 days. Like I said, it comes down to, do I thin the herd? And every now and then I do that. I have some guns that I'll trade in to get a better gun. Um, it's just that I'm getting less and less guns now that I'm willing to part with. Hey, Jay Wood, welcome. Thanks for joining. You know what, CS? Um, you don't need to wait till you get to the range. Everybody should dry fire train. I dry fire practice 5 days a week, and I can tell you that your shooting ability will increase dramatically by dry fire training. I will guarantee you that. It's all about muscle memory, reflex, breathing, and I use the Mantis X, and I can guarantee you, if you dry fire train, you will improve your shooting 100%. No excuse that you can't get to the range. And Randall, how you doing there, brother? Thanks for joining. Librador, thank you for joining. Hope you all having a great day. CS, that is absolutely not true. Now, however, dry fire training can hurt certain guns. Like, you should never dry fire a 22 long rifle chambered pistol, ever. And some of the old revolvers, you could damage the firing pin. But any modern semi-automatic or revolver, you could dry fire train, and you absolutely will not hurt it. And if you're concerned about hurting it, then use dummy rounds or get a laser cartridge, because the laser cartridge has got a rubber padding on the back, so the striker's not going to get damaged, but you're not going to do any damage. But make a long story short, you have a Glock or a Ruger RXM, you could dry fire train all day long. I don't know where that myth came from. Maybe somebody tried dry fire training a rim-fired cartridge, and that will do damage, or the old revolvers. But like I said, you can either use dummy rounds, and if you are going to dry fire train anyway, you should be using a laser cartridge so that you get a visual representation. Now, one thing you may want to do, CS, and everybody out here, if you're not dry fire training, you should be. I did a bunch of reviews on the dry fire training mag, and that is an absolute must. And the reason for that is because when you have to keep racking the slide to dry fire train, that shit just gets old real quick, right? But when you use the dry fire mag, it resets your trigger and you can practice follow-up shots. I use the dry fire mag all the time. And, having to rack your slide throws you out of your rhythm. In the real world, you're not going to be racking the slide every time you shoot. And you can't practice follow-up shots. But with the dry fire mag, you could just keep pulling the trigger as many times as you want. It is a no-brainer. That is a must-have. So if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel. Search for my videos and look for dry fire mag. You'll see it in action, and you'll see why it's the only way to train. It's available with or without a laser cartridge. And there's Sarita. Thanks for joining. And now that we've exceeded our 8,000 subscribers, we're working towards 9. 10 is the goal by the end of the year. And David, I don't know what the GPMG is. But anyway, guys, if you're not dry fire training, you really should be. There's a lot of things you can't do at the range. Some gun ranges don't let you fire from a holster. Most ranges, you're confined to a lane or a port, so you can't move laterally or forward or backward. When you dry fire train at home, you could practice moving because thank you for that, Randall. I appreciate that, brother. Anyway, there's just a lot of things you can't always do at the range. When you dry fire train at home, you could practice, kneeling, rolling on the ground. It's great to practice sweeping rooms. There's just so many things you can do that you can't do at a gun range. And to use the excuse you can't get to the range is not an excuse to not train. Mantis Laser Academy is a great tool. I use Mantis X because you can use it on rifles, semi-automatics, revolvers, air pistols, even on crossbows and bow and arrows. Matter of fact, Mantis is having a dry fire event where they're trying to get people to fire 10 million rounds, around the world. And as they send me more info, I will publish that. It's a pretty cool event that starts in September. And if you own Mantis X or Mantis Laser Academy, you can shoot your dry fire rounds and it'll be recorded out there. I've seen that, Sarita. I'm not a big fan on VR and wearing goggles. There's nothing like shooting using your own two eyes. Yeah, that would be cool, Kevin, Ona Thompson. However, in Tennessee, you are allowed to own a machine gun. You just need to register it, but that would be cool. However, I live outside of Knoxville. I'm about 30 minutes from Bud's Guns. And Bud's Gun Shop allows you to rent full auto. And typically, when my friends from New Jersey come here, we go to Bud's, and you could rent a full auto AR or AK, and it's like $60. And for $60, you get 3 magazines and a T-shirt that says, I went full auto at Bud's. And I got to tell you, that was the best $60 I ever spent. And 3 30-round mags go real quick. But, for $60, I've pissed away $60 on a lot of stupid shit. And that is well worth it. I think I even have a video of that I posted. Probably under my shorts from a long time ago. Yeah, no worry there, CS. After the stream, you can always watch the video and catch what you missed. But yeah, if anybody is in Tennessee or near Tennessee, because Tennessee does border on a lot of states. Um, it's definitely worth the trip to go to Bud's and uh, rent the AK or the AR full auto for $60. Like I said, you get 3 mags and a T-shirt. It is really cool. It's just a lot of fun. Hey, there's Jib Jab. Jib Jab, being you just joined us, um, just so you know, I created a poll out there. I want another 1911 45 ACP. So I posted a poll out there. I got my choices narrowed down between the Colt Delta Elite, the Magnum Research Desert Eagle 10 millimeter, and the Springfield Ronin 10 millimeter. So I put a poll there. Please vote, brother. I'm just curious what you guys think. And then it'll come down to the money on how long I want to wait to save up money or whether I have a couple guns I'm willing to part with. Fortunately, I do have a lot of guns and I do have some I would be willing to trade in. The full autos on the AR and the AK are a lot of fun. And thank you for subscribing there, CS. I appreciate that. I did mention to you earlier, after you subscribe, to take a look at my reviews I've done on the dry fire mag. That will allow you to dry fire your firearm with a resettable trigger so you don't have to keep racking the slide. It's 100% safe. That's a great question, Duke. In the state of Tennessee, unlike New Jersey, there is no paperwork for third-party sales. When you live in New Jersey, you need a pistol purchase permit even to buy a used gun. In Tennessee, you could sell a used firearm to anyone that's not a felon. Yeah, you'll get more money if you do a private sale. The problem is, number one, you got to wait for somebody that wants it. Number two, you really want to have a bunch of goofballs coming to your house to purchase a gun. Hey, John, thanks for joining, brother. And the problem, I guess the problem you have, Duke, is they're going to give you less money at a gun store because they got to make money, right? But it's quick. You don't have to deal with anybody. You go there and, I go to Bud's and they typically give me a fairly good deal. Yeah, that's the other problem, Jeff. I mean, we probably all have a lot of guns. We don't have time to shoot them all. And that is why I'm going to start thinning the herd. I got a lot of them, to be honest with you. There's some of them that I'm just never going to shoot. All right, we're up to 7 votes now on the 1911. To answer your question, Kevin, no, Bud's does not sell full auto guns. And to answer your question, Jib Jab, it comes down to money, right? If if you're in a hurry for money, consignment may not be the best way to go. Um, if you don't care how long it takes, you could sell it on consignment, probably going to get more. Um, but, I'm like a little kid when it comes to a gun. I want what I want, and I want it now. I don't want it next week. I want it today. So I'll go run over to Bud's and bring two guns and ask them what they'll give me for it. And if it's not ridiculously low, I'll take it. However, what I have found is that if you go to Bud's and you trade them in for a gun there, they'll give you a bit more money for your guns than if you sell them. I did that once. They had actually, when I got my Kimber LW at Bud's, and they gave me a lot more money for my guns on a trade-in than if you just want to sell them. But I get it. I mean, if you're just trying to sell them, I get it. I mean, they have a certain markup they need to make, and that's why they're going to offer you less. But if it comes down to you want the gun bad enough, and that's the only way to get it, is to trade in the gun. I have some I'm willing to trade in. Like, I have my Ruger 5.7. I'm probably never going to shoot it or carry it. That was a mistake. I just bought it because I wanted it. And then I have a Savage Stance, and I like it a lot, but, I have the Hellcat Pro. So maybe I'll start with those two and see. I have the Springfield Ronin in 45. I'm sure I'll love the 10, and it's about $300 or $400 less than the Colt Delta Elite. I'm not sure the Delta Elite is $400 better. Hey, Gundoggin. But the Delta Elite is a classic, and God forbid if you have to sell it, you would probably get more money on a Colt than you will on a Springfield, especially because the Springfields are made in Croatia, which I don't have a problem with that. Andreas, hello, welcome, and thank you for that, Isaiah. So again, it all comes down to how fast you want the money. If you got a gun you have your eye on, you want it right now, trade them in. If it's a gun you don't care about getting right now, try selling it privately or on Gun Broker. Oh, don't get me wrong, Randall. I love my Savage Stance. I really do. But I have the Hellcat Pro, and I would give the nod to the Hellcat. I carry the Hellcat a lot more than I carry the Savage Stance. The Hellcat Pro is a micro compact, just like the Savage Stance, but it holds 17 rounds. So maybe next weekend I'll bring the Savage Stance and the Ruger 5.7, see what they'll give me for it. And I don't know. Andreas, I have the Python. I just bought the Python for myself for Christmas. And I bought the Python Combat Elite. And what they did on the Combat Elite, if you haven't done so, subscribe to my channel and watch the video. The Combat Elite took the Python to another level. It's got a tritium front night sight. It came with G10 grips, and the cylinder is not fluted. It's solid. so it makes it a little heavier. It's an awesome freaking gun. Yeah, you know what, Jib Jab? There's some guns I bought for, I don't know. I don't even know why I bought them. And, at one time, I was under the philosophy of, I just want a lot of guns. And now I'm at the point where um, I'm willing to trade in guns um, and get less for them, but purchase better quality guns. Andreas, honestly, if you're going to go shooting bears with a revolver, you're definitely going to want like the 454 Casull, however you pronounce it, or 44 Magnum. My everyday carry, um, now, after purchasing this a few weeks ago, I carry my Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0 10 millimeter. Well, Sarita, I agree with you, but my stance is I'd rather have less very good quality guns than more lesser quality. So that's pretty much what I'm doing. Hey, Glasswinder. Welcome to the stream. Well, like I said, Sarita, if you're going to shoot bear with a revolver, you're going to want a 454 Casull or a 44 Magnum. Duke, you got to come down to Tennessee, brother. Even if you come down to visit, drive your car and transport your firearm. And then when you come down here, you can carry. Yeah, you know what, Glasswinder? I used to be a Glock fan, but not anymore. Since they bent over, I will never buy a Glock again. Matter of fact, after carrying the new Kimber, and I started carrying 1911 again, I'm really starting to not like polymer frame striker fire guns. I'm really thinking of going to all metal hammer fired. I'm probably going to wind up going back to carrying the 1911. I mean, there's no trigger out of the box better than 1911. That single action 1911 trigger is the best there is. And the great thing about it is they're consistent. Every shot is exactly the same, unlike the polymer frame striker fired guns. But that's just me. I was thinking of getting rid of all of my polymer frame striker fire guns and maybe just keeping one. It was funny when we went on our trip to Nashville and I carried the Kimber and shot that all week long. It just really made me not like the polymer frame striker fire guns. Maryland's another state that just banned Glocks. And Relinquish, thanks for joining. Again, all the new people out there, thank you so much for attending our live stream. We do this every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern and every Saturday at 12 noon. So if you like what we do here, please join us again and subscribe to our channel. We have almost 1,000 videos and reviews. And Relinquish, I got to tell you, there's nothing better than 1911. It really. Um, uh, Jeff, a good 1911 that won't break the bank. um, TSAS makes a very good quality 1911, and I would have no problems carrying a TSAS. Obviously, I always recommend um, getting the best gun you could afford, even if it means waiting a little longer. But if you don't have a gun and you need one now, I would have no problem getting a TSUS. Um, yeah, the problem with that 92 there, Jib Jab, is it's a freaking boat anchor. That thing will pull your pants down. It's freaking heavy. But anyway, uh, I've always been a huge fan of 1911s, especially in 45 caliber, hence Pro Gun 45. Um, and like I said, there's nothing better than a 1911. It conceals extremely well, and that's because it's a single stack. My 1911 with a full-size 5-inch barrel conceals better than my Glock 19 because the double stack magazine is twice the thickness. Now, contrary to popular belief, everybody thinks that a gun prints because of the barrel. That is not true. It prints because of the grip. And 1911 conceals very well, shoots a big bullet, big hole, a lot of blood. Jib Jab, you're baiting me, brother. TSAS does make a mongoloid gun in 40 caliber. Well, Sarita, I'm old school. To me, a 1911 is 45 ACP. 9mm is sacrilegious. 38 Super is very expensive and hard to find. So, if I were to get a 1911, it would be 45 ACP or 10mm. And John, it's time for you to go away. Yes, Jeff, I carry every gun I own. So, yes, I carry revolvers. And that is right, Kevin. Tennessee doesn't do that gay pride bullshit. Matter of fact, our governor just signed a bill in Tennessee, and it is called Nuclear Family Month, just like God intended it to be. And you're right, Jib Jab. 1911 screams 45. However, I don't mind if it's a 10mm. Andreas, the main difference between the 357 and the 44 mag is 44 Magnum is a larger case, so it holds more powder. So it's got much higher muzzle velocity, so it's got higher impact, but it also has much higher recoil. And I do carry my guns. When I carry a revolver, I normally carry my Colt Viper 357. A 44 Magnum for a carry gun is way, way overkill. Even with hollow points, you're going to have a serious problem with penetration. Got a lot of comments today, which is really good. And, Again, I apologize if I miss them. They go through so quickly, I can't catch them all. And for the new people that joined the stream, if I uh, missed your name on here and I didn't give you a shout out, I apologize for that as well. But to answer your question, Andreas, that's basically the main difference is stopping power and recoil. I would buy all three, personally. Let's see. Okay, so right now, Duke, the results of the poll are 34% for the Cult Delta Elite, 34% for the Magnum Research, and 31% for the Springfield Ronin. Now, on Grab-A-Gun, the Magnum Research also comes with a knife, which is pretty cool. Andreas, no, 44 Magnum is not overkill for bears. That's for sure. You're definitely going to want a 44 Magnum if you're going bear hunting. The reason for that is a bear has got a tremendous amount of fatty tissue, muscle, and bone. And you're going to want a 44 Magnum to penetrate through that. That's for sure. However, a 10 millimeter will kill a bear. The Alaskan tour guides use the Glock 20. Glass winder. I would have got a 1911 anyway. There's nothing like a 1911. The grip angle's better. That's just me. And there's still nothing better than that single action trigger from a 1911. And it doesn't matter what 1911 you pick up. The trigger is exactly the same on all of them. And every time you pull the trigger, it's consistent. It is not consistent on a striker fired gun. And actually, the 1911 is actually better for people with smaller hands because it's a single stack magazine. It's almost half the thickness of a Glock. If I compared my 1911 even to my Glock 19, the grip on my Glock 19 is much thicker than the 1911. So smaller hands are definitely better for a 1911. Yeah, Duke. One thing about the 1911s, and I'm okay with it, is that if you're going to replace a front sight on a 1911, those front sights are normally staked. That you will need to go to a gunsmith. However, depending on the 1911 you buy, some of them do have fiber optic or tritium front night sights. You know, a lot of people criticize the 1911 because it holds 7 rounds. And then what do? Is they go out and they get a sawed-off Glock that holds 10 rounds. If you're that concerned, I'd just get a 1911 and carry a spare mag. Yeah, no, you're not going to get anything for that Taurus, Duke. You're probably, the problem is you live in New Jersey, right? I wouldn't waste a pistol purchase permit for a Taurus. I mean, my Taurus, I'll keep it in my tackle box. and if I drop it in the river, I don't really care. Um, and I could sell it to somebody at work in the parking lot, um, because we don't need pistol permits for third party sales in Tennessee. Um, yeah, it could be a paperweight. I got to tell you, um, when we went away, one of the guns I brought was the Taurus G4. My wife's never shot it yet, and I got to tell you, um, that's just unreliable. I would not carry it. I don't trust it that it's going to go bang every time. And this is why I tell people, when you buy a gun, save the money and get a gun that you know is going to go bang every time. Yeah, you know what, Duke? Just wait till you move to North Carolina. It's a real state. Um, I would do that. It's just too much trouble in New Jersey. So now you have California, Connecticut, New Jersey, Maryland, and Illinois banning Glocks. People get what they voted for. And that's why you move to a gun friendly state. Oh, right. And Connecticut banned Glocks as well. You know what, Glasswinder? I had a Taurus Judge, and it was fun to shoot. I loved it too, but I got rid of it because realistically, it's really not ideal for a defensive gun, not for a defensive carry gun. First of all, it only holds 5 rounds, number one. Number two, 410 is not really ideal for defense. And the 45 Colt is way too expensive. Um, so I wound up getting rid of it because um, the 45 Colt was too expensive to shoot, and the 410 isn't really enough for self-defense. It's like a novelty gun, um, and fun to shoot, but I didn't think it was worth having anymore. Definitely not something I would carry. I agree with you, Serena, but um, we already know that the Democrats rigged the elections. Um, it's not just California. I mean, look what they did in Pennsylvania. They had 400,000 votes just for creepy Joe Biden show up in the post office at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yes, Jim, the SIG 220 is probably one of the best SIGs ever made. I'm a huge fan of the SIG. For that matter, hell, I even like my SIG P320s. Well, you do for okay. Now, Virginia used to be a friendly state, and now you see with this lunatic. I mean, she is definitely a communist. These people voted for that lunatic, and now they have no gun rights. So, same thing in New Jersey. They voted for that lunatic, and she's worse than Governor Murphy. And they don't learn from their mistakes. Um, you know, I just don't understand because, see, that is the definition of insanity, is doing the same shit over and over and over and expecting different results. Well, that's what the liberals do. They vote the same shit every time and they get the same results. That's insanity because nothing changes. And we got 10 minutes left. So if you guys have any other topics you want to discuss. Kevin, so if you travel to Tennessee, you can purchase a pistol, but it needs to be sent to an FFL. However, if you travel to Tennessee, you can purchase a long gun and bring that home with you. Exactly, Sarita. I was so glad Sig won that lawsuit because, you know, most of them are unfounded. Let's see. How the polls doing? All right, it looks like the Colt Delta Elite is in the lead. You guys are going to cost me more money, but that's okay. And it would be really nice if everybody donated me a boatload of money so that Pro Gun can afford to buy it. But I will just have to wait and save my coins or trade in some. But like I said, I like my P320s. Matter of fact, I have them in 9mm, 45 ACP, and 10mm for a couple of years. They never shot anybody. They've been extremely reliable. That's funny, Maddie. I was just thinking of buying the Ruger. Ruger's got a 1022 250th anniversary. And I was thinking of getting that, but I really want another 1911 and 10mm. But like I said, after carrying my 1911 when we were on vacation, I'm really thinking of going back to carrying a 1911 every day. They don't print, they conceal very well, they shoot very well, big hole, a lot of blood. And when I ride my motorcycle, the 1911 is probably the most comfortable gun I've ever carried on the bike. Go for it, Maddie. Get another 1911. You know what, Mike? I really want that 10mm FPC from Smith & Wesson, but I have one in 9 right now, and it's not something I'm going to carry. See, all of my handguns, regardless of semi-automatic or revolvers, I carry every one of them, regardless how much they cost. So I think it's a better use of money buying a handgun than another rifle that, you know, I'll use it at the range or in the truck, but it's not something I'm going to carry. It's also why I don't mind thinning out the herd, because let's face it, I own a lot of guns, and I'm not going to carry and shoot them all. So maybe less is better. You know what, Maddie? That's an awesome idea. The FPC folds down to 16 inches. It'll definitely fit in a tour pack. And I agree, Jib Jab, I am left-handed. So the awesome thing is that I could draw and throttle at the same time. Yeah, the problem, Mike, is I like that 9mm FPC. I'm not going to part with it. Yeah, there's a lot of nice 1911 grips. They have ivory and scrimshaw, all kind of stuff. Matter of fact, I just bought VZ grips, G10 grips for my new Kimber. only I can't show it here. Um, yeah, Magpoles does a nice job on grips. Um, but I do like that. Yeah, that's a good thing, Duggan. I do, when I dry fire train, though, I do practice drawing on my motorcycle. Um, and I do still carry with my outside the waistband holster when I carry a 45. Um, you know what, Maddie? To be honest with you, I still think the Colt government model 1911 is better than the Smith and Wesson. No, 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 Duke. I got flagged for that once, and they will shut down my channel. On the live stream, you cannot show a firearm, especially handling a firearm. I did it once because I didn't know any better, and they spanked me and gave me a warning. And if I do it again, they will close down my channel. Last time I did it, I didn't know any better, and they shut my stream right down. So no. However, I did review the VZ grips, and I will be posting the video of that review this week. So yeah, YouTube is really stupid with that shit. Um, you know, there's no rhyme or reason. I will release a video that they approved and tell me that it's monetized. And then a week later, they remove a video I did 2 years ago that they approved and monetized and give me a strike. And they did it to me again last month. I had a strike on the channel. And when you have a strike, you can't do a live stream or post videos or comments for a week. And if you get 3 strikes within 90 days, they will shut your channel down. And the problem with it is that you have no recourse. If you appeal it, they basically send you an email in 30 seconds saying it is denied. But, you know, they change the rules every day. The problem is that, you know, to earn revenue, there's nowhere else to go. JR22, I hear your mommy calling you. Bye. But anyway, that's the deal with YouTube. They change their rules every week. They give you a strike whenever they want. They just do not like gun channels. Yeah, the problem is, Maddie, there's other platforms out there, but they don't have the quantity of viewers that you can make enough money to make it worth the trouble. Well, worse than that, Jib Jab, not only do they demonetize, but they just remove the video altogether, even though it was a video that they approved. Hey, Mark, hello again. Welcome there, South Louisiana. Unfortunately, you joined at a bad time. We do end this stream at 1 o'clock, so we are ending the stream now. We do this live stream every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock Eastern, and every Saturday at 12 noon. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. And you know what, Sarita? I do have Rumble. I posted videos out there 6 months ago, and haven't generated a single penny. So thank you for that, Jeffrey. I appreciate that. I don't know where YouTube headquarters is. I'm assuming California because I know they're owned by Google and they are liberal owned. So I would say California. All right, the results. Colt Delta Elite, 38%. Magnum Research, 32%. Springfield Ronin, 30%. Colt Delta Elite it is. So I appreciate you guys voting. That is definitely what I will be going for is the Colt Delta Elite. Going to probably take me a little while to save some coins to get it, and I will trade in a few guns to do it, but that is definitely the way I'm going to go. Anyway, yeah, I know you tried saving me money with the Ronin there, Gun Dog, and it's not so much really about saving the money. It's getting what I want. I always wanted a Delta Elite. I don't think there would be any shame in getting the Ronin or the Magnum Research, but anyway, appreciate you all. Thank you there, Sarita. I appreciate you guys having my back and my support. Thank you all for joining this. And again, for those that are new and you like what we do, please subscribe to the channel. If you really want to help us out, do what some did and join and become a member. That really helps us accumulate funds quicker to purchase new firearms and accessories. And the other thing you can do is subscribe, watch as many videos as possible, like our videos, share them the videos, leave comments. That also helps us generate revenue. Yeah, you're right, Jip Jab. No pork rinds for me. Oh, man. All right, guys. Thank you all so much. I really appreciate you all. And we'll see you next week. Thank you. God bless.